On the boards back in the day, we used to think it was the dihydrotestosterone in puberty that caused the major growth. So there was a subforum on Thunders called chemical PE, and basically everything that was tested there. Now, the interesting thing, though, is about this aromatase inhibitor. Taking it will increase your testosterone, right? Because estradiol is a negative feedback signal to the hypothalamus. So it's also going to increase their testosterone all those years, and will probably, therefore, yield some minor increase in penile length or width. I should mention. Yeah, that's another side effect. Because think about this.
Did you or did you not?
I didn't use it. I didn't.
Did you dabble in the aromatase inhibitors?
Although I will say one thing I didn't mention on the PE video. Later in my 20s, when I did use a lot of hormones and growth hormone, I noticed some other increase in size that seems permanent. But I don't know if that had to do. I always say the growth hormone didn't affect it, but maybe it did in some way.
I think so, because I took growth hormone before bed for like 2 years straight with Cialis, just to give a little bit of stimulation at night when you get most of your erections, and I gained some size.
See, the problem is this: that
it's just it's noticeable. It's measurable on a what is it called? I don't know.
Does it still? Do you still have it now after losing the muscle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's really interesting. So some people claim that. I don't think it's really that true, because number one, children's penile growth happens while the baby's while the son is in the womb. It happens particularly between weeks 12 and 24, and it depends on the amount of androgens in the mother, and it continues thereafter. So the first 4 months of a child being alive, they have higher androgens actually signaling. Then it decreases to prepubertal levels and stays that way until puberty. The higher it seems the androgenic signaling is during those years, the higher the penis size seems to grow. It's actually not very well studied. I was looking at it just before our call today.
If you have no DHT in puberty, then you basically just end up with a micro penis, pretty much guaranteed. Like you have a definitively differentiated sexual characteristics where you're identifiable as a man pretty easily. But if you have like a 5AR gene mutation or something, I don't know, you'd probably have to like manually administer DHT at that point, but then you would be shutting down your estradiol, I guess, consequently, which then, I don't know, I guess indirectly you might end up growing taller and getting a bigger dick at the same time. I don't know.
This is what you mentioned is actually in the literature. It's a 5AR polymorphism associated with that causes some people to develop that.
Yeah, pseudo-hermaphroditism.
So the only treatments they have for that is applying DHT topically to the penile area or injecting them with testosterone. Those are the two.
I looked into all this stuff when I was looking into finasteride research heavily, and you see like these pseudo hermaphrodites. They actually end up, interestingly, some of them actually end up more muscular than their siblings, even just by the subsequent increase in testosterone that they get from the total lack of 5AR. And then, but they have no temporal recession. They have not much facial hair, not much, no penis growth. They end up with micro penises a lot of the time. So, but I don't know.
You can imagine that the aromatase inhibitor plays a role here also, because that automatically causes more 5AR conversion of testosterone to dihydrotestosterone.
True. Yeah, that's true.
On the boards back in the day, we used to think it was the dihydrotestosterone in puberty that caused the major growth. So there was a subforum on Thunders called chemical PE, and basically everything that was tested there to some degree failed, because it seemed that we were all too old for it.
Yeah.
But when I looked into the research, it doesn't seem that they have many ideas. But I mean, if I had a son and it was legal, I might consider giving him an AI at a low dose.
Yeah.
That's an AI, but growth hormone may be more dangerous a little bit, because there is some research that shows that children who are given, because by the way, they're given like 120 units 3 times a week. That's what they're given in growth hormone. It's a lot. So there are some studies that show that those people are more likely to develop certain kinds of cancers later in life.
So
but I would consider.
With liver issues, where they're growth hormone deficient, and they also have liver issues, they're prescribed Increlex or Iplex at pretty high dosages as well. And then, when you look at the inserts, you see that the Increlex treatment or the Iplex treatment might result in hypoglycemia and all the laundry list of side effects. It's when you have some of these genetic defects, you know, the treatments are pretty extensive sometimes.